Second.
No. Deputy Mayor Cekala.
So we're going to move forward and vote on this. This was discussed in leadership 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and there was direction to go back to your caucuses and discuss it. And then we discuss it again in leadership with documentation from the town manager's office. Talk to your caucus.
Councilor Finger.
So before I went unaffiliated and I was part of the caucus of the Democratic Party, this was never brought up to me. So I don't see why you're getting so bitty about it. I just think that Councilor Nelson's right. We should go in executive session. We've discussed this before with the other contracts, or tried to. Okay,
so
Can you stop? He'll run the meeting.
Excuse me.
Folks, point of order.
Excuse me. At this point in time, we're going to move forward with this, and we're going to do a roll call right now. All right, we've had discussions. We're going to be moving forward with it. The motion has failed. This is just for COLA increases. Roll call, please.
I have a question.
Roll call, please.
I don't think you have the authority to shut down the questions, Bob. He has a question.
Right.
It's on the table.
Item I, resolution to authorize non-union wage increases for the full and part-time eligible employees. Be it resolved that the Enfield Town Council does hereby approve, in accordance with the charter, authority granted to the Town Council and in adherence to the policy and procedure established by the Town Manager that, 1, Section 1, the aggregate sum of $115,780 in COLA wage increases is authorized for all qualified non-union full-time employees of the town in accordance with fiscal year 21-22 performance evaluations approved by the town manager. Section 2, the aggregate sum of $39,758 in COLA wage increases is authorized for all qualified non-union regular part-time employees of the town in accordance with fiscal year 21-22 performance evaluations as approved by the town manager. Section 3, the application of the increases referenced therein shall be applied retroactively to the date of July 1, 2022, date prepared September 28, 2022, prepared by the town manager's office.
So moved.
Deputy Mayor Cekala, and seconded by Councilor Mangini.
I'd like to make a motion to table this and move it to executive session. This is employee-related matters. It should have been discussed in executive session before it was brought here on the floor. Second.
No.
Deputy Mayor Cekala.
So we're going to move forward and vote on this. This was discussed in leadership 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and there was direction to go back to your caucuses and discuss it. And then we discuss it again in leadership with documentation from the town manager's office. Talk to your caucus.
Councilor Finger.
So before I went unaffiliated and I was part of the caucus of the Democratic Party, this was never brought up to me. So I don't see why you're getting so bitty about it. I just think that Councilor Nelson's right. We should go in executive session. We've discussed this before with the other contracts, or tried to. You know, you had the police department. We sat there and talked about it. How long did you have the police department information for? You know, there's questions and answers. If you want me to bring them up, then I'll do it. But the whole thing is that I agree this was supposed to be done in executive session first, no matter, not caucuses, executive session. That's the way it's supposed to be done. We fought this before.
Councilor Pisner.
Okay, I guess my concern is I have no idea who's getting these raises. The list that I was given today, because we asked for it, there's some repetition on here that a couple of these people got raises just in February that were quite large. So I'm looking at this from a taxpayer's point of view. Every meeting we seem to be giving people raises. And I have no clarification. I don't know who's getting this money. And this is why it shouldn't be talked about on this floor.
Assistant Town Manager Steve Belinda.
I've been here over 12 and a half years, and the way people get raises is usually on July 1st, the beginning of the fiscal year. If they did get a raise before that time, it was a wage adjustment or a promotion. That did not make them ineligible for getting COLAs here on after. As long as they're not on probation, as long as they're not a new employee that is in the first 6 months of their employment or in their 3 months if it's a probation, they're eligible for COLAs. That's how I've been practicing it since I've been here for 12 and a half years. If they're a new employee, they don't get it. If they have a poor performance evaluation, they don't get it. If they had responsibilities taken away from them, they don't get it. But since I've been here, that's been the rules under the personnel rules, and we've been following it ever since, and that's what non-union employees have come to expect. So to start changing the rules of the game after they've been performing for the town and working for the town, it's hard to keep them motivated.
So the list,
Excuse me.
I thought he was talking to me. I was asking him a question. He answered it.
She has the floor. She has the floor.
Excuse me. I don't know if he was, or were you finished?
I just wanted to address the people in February who got raises. They did get a wage adjustment. That's not a COLA. There's a big difference.
Can I ask my next
Go ahead.
question? Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm looking on here, and some of these are the bus drivers, the dial-a-rides that we talked about 2 weeks ago. They were given a raise 2 weeks ago. So is that part of this money?
2 weeks ago, it was not the dial-a-ride drivers, it was the dispatchers that were impact bargaining because of what we did to them. We gave them more responsibilities, so their union impact bargains because we gave them more than was outside their job description. It was not all the dial-a-ride drivers, it was not all the magic carpet drivers, it was the dispatchers, 2 dispatchers that we had to impact bargain. The ones you're seeing here are non-union drivers. They work less than this threshold number to be in the collective bargaining agreement. They're working 16 hours or less. We have some people that drive that are in the union, and we have people that drive even less that are not in the union. So they don't get orphaned and never get a raise.
That's fine. I just would like moving forward to not be blindsided because I didn't hear about it. And I don't know who on here is actually getting raises. And Steve?
Do the names matter? I thought the positions would be adequate. I didn't know if the name was important of who's
You know
getting
what?
raised.
It's taxpayers' dollars.
Absolutely.
Okay, we are the fiduciaries. And right now, we are spending money. I think, I have to agree, that's what we're doing is signing checks.
Well,
and it frightens me.
I guess in fairness to the non-union, I don't give you the names of all the employees in the collective bargaining agreements either. I've never had that request. So I don't know why are we treating the non-union differently than the people in the collective bargaining agreements.
Councilor Ungar.
I think if we're discussing salaries, we should do it privately and do it during executive session. Can I make a motion that we,
No.
On the table. I made that motion.
to go to executive session?
With this, because I
Okay,
have.
I support that.
No. Well, let's vote on the motion.
Well, I have one more. This is employees, they're performance-based. These are performance-based raises. He just said it. And I'm going to be honest with you, and this is why I don't want to do this in the public. Ellen, I sat with you Friday, and there's a particular employee on this list that's not in good standings, and they're getting a raise.
They're not.
It's unacceptable.
They're not getting
It's
a
on
raise.
the list, Steve.
Okay, point of order here. Let's one at a time.
Point of
please.
order.
Point
This
of
is why
order.
we should be in executive session.
Point of order.
But you guys want to force this through. This isn't right. We have a right to talk
Councilor
about
Ludwig.
this.
Just to be clear to the mayor, to his town manager, again, we've done this in the past, but it's never been just a straight COLA. I mean, some of this has been performance-based. The manager made a recommendation on who was performing and who wasn't. So it was based on their performance. We didn't just give carte blanche 3% raises every year. Sorry, Steve, I just want to clarify that. We have given COLA adjustments, but it's not been 3% carte blanche. It was based on evaluations by the management team on who was performing well and who wasn't. So just to clarify, I'm not saying we haven't done this, but please, you can't speak that way and say we're just carte blanche and giving people 3% every year, because we're not. We haven't.
We're voting on the motion, right?
To table and move to executive session.
Right now, we are going to be voting on the motion to table item I, to go into executive session.
To put it on that agenda.
To put
I
it
don't wanna
on the
do it
agenda.
now.
No, we're not going to go into
Right.
executive session now. All right, we are, okay.
May I
we're
just,
gonna-
point of
we're-
order as town
yeah.
attorney, I think I get to weigh in on legal issues. I'm looking at Connecticut General Statutes, Section 1-200, subsection 6, I think it is. And if you were going to go into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, performance, evaluation, or dismissal of a public employee, then it would be appropriate to go into executive session. I'm not sure on the fly that talking about COLA adjustments qualifies. You're not talking about any specific employee. You're talking about COLA adjustments across a class. I'm not prepared to go on record to say it would be appropriate for executive session.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to have a roll call on, or hands or something, or whatever.
By a raise of hands, if you are in favor of tabling to executive session, raise your hands. Excuse me.
It's okay, Bob.
It was down.
It's only
It
a
was down.
conversation.
It was down. All right. Okay, against?
This is insanity. This is
Against?
absolute
Okay.
insanity.
Okay.
Insanity.
All right, motion fails. So,
Can you stop? He'll run the meeting.
excuse
Hey,
me.
folks, points.
Excuse me. At this point in time, we're going to move forward with this, and we're going to do a roll call right now. All right? We've had discussions. We're going to be moving forward with it. The motion has failed. This is just for COLA increases. Roll call, please.
I have a question about.
Roll call, please.
I don't think you have the authority to shut down the questions, Bob. He has a question.
Go
It's
ahead.
on the table.
Did you raise your hand? Okay.
A point of order
Go
could be
ahead.
raised.
All
That
right.
discussion is not being considered.
Excuse me.
No, I'm not making
Go
a
ahead.
point of order for
Question.
that. I hear no point of order.
All it is, and it's through the town, I'm sorry, through the town manager to assistant town manager Steve. So the question I had asked earlier was about the thresholds of non-union insurance premiums, for the raises here to 3%. So if you make less than $30,000, you're paying 3% of your insurance premium cost to the town.
Correct.
30,000 to 60, well, round up to 60,000. 59.99 is 8%. Annual salary 59 to 11%. When was the last time that any of these people were brought up to other union or town cost percentages to help pay for insurance to take the burden off the taxpayers? Our union is at 17%.
Correct.
Other unions are at 17%. When was the last time these were brought up, or are we planning on helping them to help the town cut back its cost? Thank you. That's
Can
the
I
question.
answer? I'm prepared to answer that.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Councilor Finger, and you raise a very good question, because when I came here over 12 and a half years ago, I did not take the town health insurance, but I did notice the disparity and why are union members paying more than non-union members. And I question that because non-union employees are the most vulnerable employee. They have no contractual rights, they have no negotiating leverage, they have no just cause protection. They are at-will employees. They work at the will of their supervisor. So when I explored a little further, I want to know why is it that they are treated differently, not only with lower health insurance, but they also have a cafeteria plan that no union gets. I learned that they try to incentivize people not to go into the union. Stay where you are. We will give you a cafeteria plan. We will give you lower health insurance, so we don't have people flocking to the union. That doesn't always work, because we did have non-union employees form a union, i.e. the Teamsters, because they weren't happy with their health insurance coverage. Although they are paying more health insurance than if they had stayed as non-union, they wanted to go and unionize. So I use this to my leverage to try to entice employees to leave unions and come to non-union positions, because a lot of times it's a good breeding ground for clerical employees. I can think of many employees who have left the union. I've enticed them. If you come here, you get lower health insurance, you get a cafeteria plan, and you don't have to pay union dues. And the only problem is that you don't have just cause protection. You don't have that safety net that they have come to enjoy being in a union. But you know what? I have a lifetime contract renewed every day I do my job, and I tell that to them. So if they're willing to put their work ethic and where their mouth is, they will leave and they will come to a non-union position. And I try to entice them with that. And that's what I've been doing ever since here. And we've had some great employees who are former union members who are now in the non-union sector, and they're thriving. So I made benefit what I inherited, and I've never looked back as far as how we've been doing it.
Right, so thank you, because I know that they don't always get raises every year.
Correct.
So, you know.
They're vulnerable.
Yeah, I just wanted that question answered. That's all, and I appreciate the answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Hopkins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just briefly, I think, like spillways, like sewers, workforce requires maintenance, and we're going to lose out on people if we don't do that. I think it's fair to have a difference of vision. If some folks want to cheap out on that, that's fine. I think we want to pay that down. What I'm not okay with is name calling up here, folks. I think we need to do the business at hand. I think there's a procedure for doing that, but I am really disappointed in that. But I think, folks, we have a difference in vision. Let's just vote on it. But please, please be civil. This is ridiculous.
Sheila, roll call, please.
Councilor Ungary.
Because of how this is presented, I'm going to vote against.
Deputy Mayor Cekala.
4.
Mayor Cressotti.
4.
Councilor Despard.
4.
Councilor Finger.
4.
Councilor Hopkins.
4.
Councilor Ludwig.
Abstain.
Councilor Mangini.
4.
Councilor Nelson.
4.
Councilor Pisner.
Abstain due to lack of information.
Councilor Santinella.
4.
That is, I'm sorry, give me a minute. 8 in favor, 1 against, and 2 abstentions.
Thank you. Item